right, you guys, we are live tonight. IOPPS special. IOPPS goes live. I gotta put the right one on. All right, welcome to my show tonight. IOPPS goes live, and we are doing a COVID special part 2 because part 1 was pretty interesting and everyone was right into it. So here we are doing it again. Yeah, welcome to the show. And to my right here, I have Raven. Like I said, we are going to be talking about. I'm drawing a blank here. We're going to be talking about Indigenous nurses and then also them working on the front line. Okay, so if you guys can share this live video right now as much as you can, thank you. Yeah, and I'm gonna bring on everybody right now, but I want to introduce my friend Raven at Nicotine, who is from Red Pheasant, and yeah, she decided to just come here because we don't want to fight with Red's Wi-Fi. She lives in Townside, so she gets the faster Wi-Fi. So welcome.
So yeah, my name's Raven Nicotine. I'm an LPN at Battleford Union Hospital. Just on here to share my part of the story. I got COVID. And just pretty much share if any questions and with my friends here and Nathan.
Yeah, and there's the man himself, Mr. Raven Fox. We're going to bring on everyone else here. Hello, Fallon. Hello, Vanessa. You guys can unmute your mics there.
Hello.
All right, so now we got Fallon Paskman, right? Fallon Passman, who is from Sweetgrass First Nation and is also a nurse and who also contacted COVID-19. And below us, we have Vanessa DeRocher, who is from Sweetgrass? No, Flying Dust. Flying Dust. I should have thought that, DeRocher. So Vanessa is a teacher who is, Vanessa, you're going to have to unmute your mic there. Vanessa's from Flying Dust, and she's a teacher, and yeah, she also contacted. Is that it? Should I say contacted or got infected? COVID-19. What's the proper one? Whatever.
COVID survivor.
Yeah, COVID survivor. Oh, it's too bad I didn't have like a survivor song. Anyway, welcome you guys. Like I said, we are talking about Indigenous nurses that are battling the front lines, like Fallon and Raven here, and us also Vanessa, who does work in the education system. So I guess you guys are getting everything tonight, which is pretty cool. Because last show we had Quentin Swiftwolf and Jessica Chickeness, who are just everyday people, and they contacted. I want to say they got infected with the virus, COVID-19, and they told their stories. So now we get to hear the other side. So welcome, ladies. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, so once in a while you guys are going to see. Yeah, so Nicole here,
hey,
she
Nicole.
says, yeah, hi, ladies. Thanks for sharing your stories tonight. And it's pretty brave. Like, it seems now, like, remember at the beginning how COVID was like, oh shit, you have COVID, and it's like it was like big thing. Like you had the plague, like you had leprosy or something like that. You know, it was like it was, and it's still like that. It's so shame. So we're trying to normalize. If you have COVID, you don't have, you know, I don't know how to say it. You guys talk. You guys tell me. You tell me your story about you having COVID, Raven. Or she wants to go with Fallon first.
Sure, I'll take lead here.
Yes.
It's part of my job, you know, being a leader. I'm just kidding. I'm super nervous, and so just bear with me. I'm like,
I don't know why you're nervous. You sell Tupperware every single day.
I know. If you guys don't know, I sell Tupperware, so add me. I'll hook you up. So Nathan kind of put some questions together, but I'll just do, I guess me and Vanessa can just do our like intros and whatever. So I also work with Raven at the hospital near Balford. I'm also an LPN, and I'm from Sweetgrass First Nation, and I was infected with COVID.
Contracted. Shauna says contracted.
Okay, contracted.
Contracted.
Like I signed the contract.
Yeah, you signed a contract.
And Vanessa, do you want to do your intro? Then we can do cover some of the questions.
Okay. I'm Vanessa DeRocher. I'm from Flying Dust. I currently reside in North Battleford, and I'm a teacher, grade 3 teacher at Soto Heritage School.
Thanks for hopping on with us, Vanessa. Can I just do a little background on like us three, how we kind of
Take her away. The floor is yours. All three of yours.
Yes.
Oh my God, I feel so important. So when Raven got sick and kind of went public with everything, Vanessa too was battling, all the symptoms and everything same time. And then at that same time, I had contacted it also. So together, us three kind of formed like a little survivor bond. Like we help each other every day. We checked in on each other. We still check in on each other to make sure we're all okay. When I first got it, I messaged Vanessa and I was asking her questions of like how she was coping at home, how she I asked her, I remember asking her the very first question was like, how did you tell people? Because for a long time I didn't tell anybody because I didn't want nobody to be like, ew, or gross, or like just to make me feel small. And it happened anyways. In my community, it happened. People are like, when I first was out of isolation, they were like running away from me pretty much, it kind of seemed, which is just so wrong. But anyways, us three together, we're like a big support system for each other, and we help each other pull through this. And we are like leaning on each other. And it's like, if that's the kind of people you need, people who know what you're going through, I guess. Because people, unless you have COVID or contacted it with some like your mom or your dad or your cousin, unless you're there for somebody who actually had it, you don't really know. Like you don't know what happens and how people feel. And yeah, so we all kind of together, like these girls are my support system, and I'm so thankful for them. So one of the first questions Nathan had asked us was, how did COVID impact your work? So for me, I work full time at the hospital. And I work 12-hour shifts, which requires us to be on our feet like for the whole 12 hours. We hardly get any pee breaks, let alone like we miss lunch sometimes, miss our breaks. So we're like, we have to be on our feet. We have to go, doing meds, talking with families, talking with the doctors, the whole team. It's like a really super, super busy job. And I just, I was off for, I think 6 weeks. And then I finally went back last weekend for my first 3-day shifts at 8 hours. And it was really hard. Like the first day was okay. It was chill. It was a lot of people to help. And then Saturday I left work like crying, and I sat in my vehicle and I was like, whew. I was like, I try not to cry this time, but I sat in my vehicle and I was like, how can I feel like this? Like, I feel so lazy. Like it just, I used to be able to do everything, even running to codes. Like there would be a code on the floor, then you go and help with this person that fell, and then the family's there asking you all these questions, and you have to go. And it was just like a slap in the face. Like I know it's gonna take time, but for me it was like, holy man, like I can't even do what I used to do. And that was a big thing for me because like I'm a single parent too, so I know like I've established a pretty independent life where I'm able to do everything in one day. Take my kids to school, go to hockey, get them to bed, the whole mom thing, like, and work and just life. Like it was so busy. But going back to work, it just felt I felt so awful. Like it felt like I asked my doctor, I said, am I ever going to get better? Like, am I ever going to feel better? Am I ever going to be able to do what I used to do?
I was going to ask, is that the after effects of COVID? It's still affecting you?
Mm-hmm.
Because I seen a story today. I seen a story today. A 31-year-old healthy lady from Vancouver didn't give two shits about the COVID because they were all like this lady is like in shape, one of them fitness freaks, eh? And didn't care. 31, just no care. And then she got it. And then now she can't, like when she was doing her live video or her videos like showing Instagram and stuff, she was like like that, trying to breathe. And now she has a breathing machine. So I'm saying that just because like I know it's a real deal, and that's what we're trying to
Yeah.
get out to people. Like, it's the real deal. Like, you guys work the front lines, you see what's going on, also you experience it. So how is your breathing now? Is it like still, what's it like right now?
When I was at work, and like when I'm at home, I know to like take a break and just to chill out. But when I was at work, I was like going from A to B, and I had to sit down, and I was like, holy man, you guys, like I need to take a break. I can't do this. And like that first day back, I was trying to do like help with ADLs on a patient, and I couldn't even, like I had to sit back on their bed, like, and that's not right. Like I shouldn't have done that. But I sat on their bed and I was like, like just taking a deep breath, just because I was so out of breath. And like it's not even like, even when I first came back from the hospital, like to come home, because I would always phone my sisters when I would get scared. And that one day, the first day I came back, I went walking downstairs and I was like crying on the phone and like I was having a coughing fit. And then my sister's like, why did you go home? Like you shouldn't have went home. And I was like, well, I had to. Like there was no way I was going to keep on staying in the hospital, not being able to sleep. Like I needed to come back in my own environment and like help myself better. And just like going from down the stairs, like it was so hard, so out of breath, like be coughing, freaking out, like having an anxiety attack. But now like it's way better. I don't feel like I'm so out of breath. I know it's different for the other girls, but I think my breathing's way better than it was like a week and a half ago.
And Raven, what about you? Because
It's
you're not back at work yet, eh?
Not yet. It's definitely improving. I got COVID on October 11th, and still to this day, like even just washing my hair or just doing little things, like tidying my home, I'm just left breathless. I did try one shift going back to work, 12 hours, but my coworkers were understanding. They took over the physical aspect, but I did feel guilty. I am off work now due to my lungs not operating at their full capacity. It is definitely a struggle trying to get back to the norm prior to COVID.
Yeah, that must be tough. And I know a buddy of mine, KJ, he had mentioned on, and the only reason I speak about him because he said everything on the internet. He said everything on Facebook. So kind of just reiterating his words is like he got attacked by it pretty bad, and he was in and out of the hospital. And he's on a breathing machine. And now I seen on his Facebook post he put that he doesn't know if he might be like that for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
Which is scary. Like you just don't know. Like this virus is so new. So what's it like on the front lines? I know before you guys got, and when did you guys sick? You guys all kind of got sick at the same time, eh? How long ago was that?
October 11th for me. Well,
October
I didn't know I
15th.
was infected until
So yeah, October 15th,
I knew
October
I was
11th.
sick. I knew I was sick.
And then you, Fallon?
Well, it's kind of funny because I got tested on October 14th, and then October 17th I got my swab back. It was negative, and then on October 17th I called my doctor and I said something's not right. I need to come in. Like I need someone to see me and assess me. They swabbed me on the 20th, and then the 22nd morning I got my result back and I was positive.
Wow, eh? That's
Yeah, I wasn't sick when I got my test. I was instructed by work. They did all their precautionary things, and I was instructed by work to go get tested prior to attending work. So
Yeah.
I taught online for 2 days. Like from home, I was able to teach my class on the smartboard online for 2 days while I waited for my testing. And then
Yeah.
I got sick. I went for my testing on Wednesday, and that day I got sick after my testing. So I stayed home for 2 days, fine. Like I was fine, no symptoms at all. And then I went and got tested, and then I got sick that evening. I started having a headache, and I was just tired, and I slept till the next day. And then I slept actually for 4 days. And
Holy.
I was in bed. I could not do life. And then I got my test results on a Saturday morning, and they were positive. Because I live in the city, they had me on, I would think I was only like the number 3 for COVID in the area. So at that
Really?
time, it was really like nobody had it. I felt like you said, like the plague.
Well,
And
when you
so-
guys all caught it, it's kind of like that's when
It's like the beginning.
it's the beginning of the second wave, but that's kind of when like everyone you kind of know was starting to catch
Yeah.
it. Or
Mhm.
you know what I mean? It was at the beginning. Yeah, you're right. The plague.
Yeah.
So everybody who was in who I was in everybody who I was in contact with,
Society.
they didn't. Nobody like everybody was negative from my contact, and I'm so grateful that the school did their policy and were able to follow through with it, because I would not be able to live with myself knowing I went to work sick. And I didn't know I was sick like at all, because I was perfectly fine. I was fine.
Let's go back to that. Let's talk about that question, because this is going to happen whether we like it or not. Somebody's going to get COVID and they're going to go to work without knowing it, right?
Mhm.
And you're right. You're not gonna feel freaking good, man. Like you're gonna feel like shit. Like let's be honest. But here's the thing: you got to realize a lot of people's tests come back negative and they don't know, and then they're told, "Oh, you're good. Go on with your daily life, right?" Because yours did,
Yeah.
eh?
Mine came back.
Mine
Raven, yeah. So there you go. So you guys are like, go on with your daily life. You know, wear a mask, blah blah blah.
Mhm.
And you have COVID without knowing it. So now you're going to work, you know, doing your thing, still trying to be safe, but you can only be so safe. We got to tell people that even though you guys might go to work and the professionals tell you go and you spread it, you can't feel too guilty, because
Yeah.
people that they're pros are supposed to tell you that, are telling you to go out and live life, right? So you got to take that into consideration.
Now I think it's a little bit different. Like more people they're getting more educated on it. Where when we first started, it pretty much was that we knew of was only the three of us that we knew of in the area. So that's why we developed like kind of little sisterhood because of it, which I'm grateful for, because honest to God, I wouldn't have survived my time alone in all that.
Just like you're in jail.
It was really.
Well, you know what? It's funny you say that, because so many people are starting to say like they feel like they're in jail.
Yeah, but when you look at it, the way I think about it is you can pick the blue pill or the red pill. What are you going to do? You're going to take the chances of having severe symptoms like we did, where we ended up hospitalized, where we ended up now we can't work to our full capacity. We are not able to do the things that we used to do. We're not able to live our life the way that we used to live our life. Or would you like to take the other pill? I mean, you have the chance of taking the other pill where you have mild symptoms, right? So you're taking a chance whether you're going to be severe or mild. Would you like?
Raven's got her phone.
Sorry.
What are you doing?
Turn that off.
Turn that
Trying
off.
to take
I
my
just want
mom.
to share.
My fan base.
If Raven will just put her phone down. No, just kidding.
My
So
mom.
when I got tested on October 14th, 2 days before, I had a runny nose and I had a headache. It was like I just thought like I was just tired or whatever. So I got tested. Me and my kids all got tested. We stayed home from October 14th. Then October 17th, I got my result back and it was negative. I was like, oh, right on. So then I went to my mom's house like for dinner. My sister and her family came over. So all together from my negative that I had, I infected 14 people in my family.
Holy shit.
And like the feeling of getting my family sick, like it was horrible.
Yeah, like for me, I was only me and my daughter home. So within that, but prior to my symptoms, I did have contact with my immediate family because we had dinner together for Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So everybody was on isolation who was on my contacts. I only had, I think, 10 in total on my contacts. And one of them was my daughter. And my daughter, we did everything we could. We did share a house. She was in the basement. But prior to my positive result, she was helping me, like getting me water, getting me trying to feed me when I was sick, and getting me medicine and running my tub. Like she was helping me. So in that time, that's when I think that she might have got infected before I got my positive, where we just thought I just had the flu or I was sick. And then I never thought I'd have COVID ever. And then after I got my positive, then she had to isolate in the basement, and she isolated in the basement for 28 days by herself. That was the worst.
Wow, man. Wow.
Because my symptoms kept coming. My symptoms kept going, and they wouldn't. So you have to stay in isolation until either you're 14 days or you're symptom free for 3 days. So my symptoms went for that long. I was sick for that long.
28 days?
28 days.
Yeah.
So within that time, my daughter was isolated in the basement. Well, we shared the kitchen, but when we were in the kitchen, we had to wear masks. We had to wipe everything down, and we weren't allowed in there at the same time. So if I wanted to visit her or anything, I'd have to wear a mask, sit in the kitchen sit in the living room while she sits in the kitchen and like talk to her like that. But like, to me, that was the worst part. Being sick. Like, but being away from your kid and having that isolation was totally different, especially being a single mom and having to have her go through her stuff by herself and you with yours. So I'm glad I have a really supportive family, and everybody took their time to like video chat her and do things like bring us stuff and everything. So I was grateful for that, and all my friends who brought us things. It was good. Well, that part was good. But I don't know. And what happened was she got her positive. When she got her positive, I was so sick. I couldn't started to not be able to breathe. Like, I felt it's a fire. The way I explain it is it's a fiery feeling in your chest. So it's like, when I explained it to the nurses, I was like, I feel like I can breathe fire, like I'm a dragon. And they kind of like laughed, but I was
dragon.
But that's how it felt. Was every time that I took a breath, my chest would burn. So then I went outside to get something in the vehicle, and I came back in, and I couldn't breathe. I had to, like, I felt like I was gonna pass out, and I kind of scared my daughter. So she's like, well, if you're not gonna drive yourself to the hospital, I'm gonna drive you. But she got me to go to the hospital. I went to the hospital, and I had double pneumonia and COVID. Oh, double pneumonia from COVID.
So
and that's when I was admitted.
All three of you guys had double pneumonia, right? Right?
I had left.
Well, I did.
My left lung.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you guys all got admitted to the hospital, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was supposed to stay there. I was supposed to stay there longer, but the thing was, my daughter was home alone. Nobody could be home with her, so I had to leave her. I had to leave her home alone. I had no choice to, like, she couldn't come with me to the hospital. I had asked, can we get a room with 2 beds? But no.
Don't you know who I am?
So she had to stay home alone, and nobody could be there with her, which was the worst part, is that nobody could be in the house with her. Fortunately, her dad had stayed in town because he lives in Alberta. So he came to town and stayed in a hotel and was able to cater to her, like get her what she needed and everything, and make sure she was okay while I was in the hospital. So I'm grateful for that. And then when I was in there, though, I was so sick. I just, like, all I did was sleep. And I didn't even know. It was such a blur. Like, 3 days to being in the hospital, I was like, hey, my car. I was like, my car is parked outside. I wonder if it's okay. So one of the nurses or somebody went and checked to make sure. They were so good at the hospital. I was so grateful. I had such good nurses. They were there.
A good word for you.
She's a friend.
Yeah. Well, that's where we want to get to. We want to get to, like, Fallon's and Raven's story here. And thank you for sharing that, Vanessa. Like, it's
not just one, like, it's not just you get sick. You have a chance of either getting severely sick or mildly sick, but you also have the chance, like, you also take the chance of, like, in my case, I had to leave my daughter home alone because I had to be hospitalized.
Yeah.
Like, she was home alone for 5 days by herself, 16 years old, like, having to kind of fend for herself. But I mean, we did have lots of people bring things and help and everything, but still, it's not a good feeling, like a helpless feeling, being in the hospital while your kid's at home alone. Like, that, those are the chances that you take of not being safe, I guess. Like, I thought I was being safe. I did everything. I thought I was being safe.
You can only be so safe. You can only be, like I said the last show, the only way you're not going to get it, and this is literally probably 100%, is if you live alone and you literally don't leave and no one comes in and you just by yourself. That's the only way. Other than that, it's like as soon as you step outside that door, game on, right?
Be like China.
Yeah, yeah.
You gotta be like China.
Let's take it back here. So we'll start with Raven here. When you went to the hospital, because I remember just seeing on your social media, like you said you weren't you weren't.
I remember this. I knew I was sick. So like I got tested on October 12th, and then by day 3, like I was smudging. I knew I was sick, and it was just like really bad, like a bad flu. And then I was smudging with my sons like every night. And then by day 3, I couldn't smell the smudge no more. And that's how I knew, like, I can't smell it. I know I have COVID, like, but I didn't want to believe it. So it took about 3 more days until my test to come back. And by day 6, I thought I was feeling better. And then they phoned me that morning and they're like, "You're negative." I'm like, "Are you sure?" I was like, "I've been feeling really sick all week." And then they're like, "Yeah, you're negative. You're good." So whatever. And then my symptoms started getting worse and worse. After that, it started getting like bad migraine, the pains, aches, chills, hot, everything. It was just horrible for 4 days. And then they called me at 6 p.m. and they're like, "Hey, you're positive." I was like, what the heck? Like, what if I went out somewhere? Like, what if I just left and you guys told me I'm positive?
Yeah.
So, but I didn't. I was too sick. So 4 days of all this pain. That's the only thing I remember is the pain. That was the pain. I didn't want to go in until after, let's see, what is that? 9 days. 9 days of all this. And then I called my mom. I'm like, "Hey, Mom, my fingers are turning blue." But me being like a nurse, me being a nurse, I'm just real stubborn.
You were like this? Come on, get my color back.
Like, when are you going to come back?
Normal people are like, "Oh, shit, my fingers are blue." Nurse, hold on, I got this.
Yeah, I'm like, "Mom, my fingers are blue." And she's like, "That's not normal." I'm like, "But it's only when I cough."
That's not normal. Only when I
Just
cough.
cyanotic.
The nurse.
Oh my
The
god.
nurse doesn't want to go in.
They only turn blue when I cough. Yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
So, fuck.
That's all right.
Sorry.
Swear, hey man, you guys went through a lot of
But
shit,
yeah,
man.
it was horrible. It was so horrible. Oh, I would never wish COVID on anybody. It's the worst. If you contracted as worse as we did.
Yeah.
And just the gasping for air, the ambulance, and being on like OptiFlow was scary. And
What's OptiFlow?
OptiFlow is this like a machine that breathes for you. Help me out, Fallon.
OptiFlow.
It helps
Like
you
for
breathe.
people require like oxygen, like we have like nasal cannulas, and then we have like a simple mask, and then a non-rebreather where the oxygen is like 40%, not as little as like 2%. Like it's a lot of oxygen at one time, so that she can her blood can oxygenate.
Okay.
My body couldn't comprehend that it was breathing for me all that oxygen. It was still like at 99% still on OptiFlow though, but just the breathing, just trying to. I don't know, it's just really hard to breathe. Very, very hard to breathe.
So, what's going through your guys? Obviously, are you guys scared shitless? What's happening? Like while you're in the hospital? Are you because you're trained nurses? Are you okay? Like what's going through your head? Like if I was in there, oxygen, and I couldn't breathe, I'd be scared shitless.
It is.
Like that's basically. I'm gonna say it right now. That's exactly how I would feel because you don't know what's going on, and well, you know what's going on. You got COVID, but I mean you don't know what it's doing to your body, right?
I think even at some point, I walked from the living room to the bathroom, like probably about 20 steps, and I sat on the bathroom, and I was like, "How the hell am I so out of breath? Like this is ridiculous. Like how can't I just breathe? Like why can't I just breathe right? Like it's so frustrating." And like the cough was the worst. Like having a cough like all day, every day, it was so tiring. Like it was just nasty.
Cough was the one that lingered the most.
The cough.
Yeah. And just cough, oh my gosh, coughing so bad where it's just like, for me, coughing so bad that to a point where I'm throwing up.
Wow,
That's how bad
really?
it was. Yeah.
Mhm.
Like almost like whooping cough, where you just cough continuously, like
So just to
Mhm.
It's a
breathe.
cough,
breathe.
like, and then when you try sucking for air, you can't because your
It's
your
dry.
lungs are it's tight.
Mhm.
I don't know how to say it. I'm not a nurse, but it's real tight and it's fiery.
Real tight, you know?
This is not a sex show. We're trying to keep this
Remember,
PG.
Vanessa, your
So
parents
the-
are watching.
You
The
got it.
lungs, like your lungs, the way they explained it to me is that the sacs in my lungs are closed. They're from inflammation because it's a virus, an inflammation virus. So it makes it hard to breathe. So when I would go to take a deep breath, it would hurt. Like I'd get like stinging in my chest from trying to breathe when you're having a cough in the middle of a coughing fit. It
Mhm.
really, I don't know. And even like what Fallon said, like just amazed at how much I can't do. Amazed at how much like it's changed everything. And even from when I was sick to even now, like I am getting better, but I still can't do life like I used to do.
Yeah.
And like when I first went to the hospital, I remember telling Vanessa that morning, I was like, oh my God, I can't breathe. Like I'm coughing so bad I can't breathe. And she's like, okay, well get an ambulance. Like call an ambulance. Don't be scared. So like it's a good thing our community nurse does a checkup every day. She called me and she was like, and I was coughing and she's like, okay, I'm calling the ambulance now because I started to cry and it was just like overwhelming. And then when I did get to the hospital, like I called my doctor. My doctor called me because she said, how are you doing today? Because like I work with her for the last 3 years. She's an amazing doctor, Dr. Campbell. She had called me and she was like, what's going on? And I was like coughing still. And I was like, I'm going to the hospital. She's like, okay, I'm calling ahead to make sure they have the room available for you. So like, thank God. Otherwise I would have had to wait. So when I got there, it was kind of funny. Like some of the nurses that I like know and like pharmacists, whatever, they kind of were standing there and I was like, oh my God. And they were like just kind of looking at me like in awe. Like I just felt like kind of embarrassed and ashamed. I'm like, oh my God, of course everyone's standing here looking at me. And then I got into the room, whatever, the hospitalist came and looked at me and they went through everything, listened to my lungs, did an ECG, they did an x-ray. And on Tuesday I had the same x-ray. It just showed mild like consolidation the top here, like it was kind of like showed a little bit of consolidation on the x-ray. And then by Friday it was like my whole lung was like all had pneumonia. And I knew obviously something was wrong. So then when I went into that room, the doctor came in and like these are doctors me and Raven work with all the time. Like we know all the doctors there. He came in the room, he's like, hey Fallon, and I'm like and I was crying. He's like, what's wrong? And I was like, I miss my kids. He's like, oh, and then he comes and like hugs me and I cry more. Well, not hug me, but he like put his hand on my shoulder and was like, it's okay, Fallon, you're sick. Like it's okay to cry. And then he says, so you know what we're gonna do, right? Like kind of tell me what we're gonna go through and whatever. And I was like, well, we're gonna the only thing we can do is symptom management. So like control my cough, my pain, like whatever. So I was on like I've never ever been on meds. Like the only thing I ever took was Tylenol for a headache or Gravel to knock me out after a night shift. No, just kidding. But like all of a sudden I was on salbutamol inhaler. I was on an ipratropium inhaler. Tylenol too is just to suppress my cough because it hurts so much. Gravol, Benadryl, cough medicine, like lozenges, like just everything. And I was like, oh my God. And I had to like for myself write down like my meds. And I was like, holy man, like you even have to write them. Okay, I took my Tylenol at this time. Like as a nurse, we do that every day. We're like, like it's so easy. But it was like frustrating. I was like, as if I have to write this down. Like I feel like an old lady. like like you have so many meds. Like I'm not trying to discriminate against old people because
What's
I love
today? Is
everybody.
it Wednesday? Yeah, we gotta take 20 years. No, just kidding.
Yeah, but it was just like for people to start to see more COVID come into the hospital. Like they were like, oh, you're the two that are positive, like me and Vanessa. You guys are the two, and I'm like, oh my God.
You guys are a celebrity. I you know what? You guys kind of were
Hey.
because everyone knew who you guys were. They're like two nurses and that one teacher.
I didn't care. After all those days suffering by myself in fear of being just talked about in a negative way, I didn't care. Once I was in the hospital and I knew I was getting help, I felt good. I didn't care if anybody knew. I just glad to be feeling better. And I just want to say, if you have a family member that's like sick, that with COVID and they're isolating, go and help them. Go and bring them groceries, bring them hot meals, because the last thing they want to do is cook a meal because they're in bed all the time feeling these symptoms. Just anything small is appreciated.
Obviously take
It's
super
lonely.
precautions,
It's
but
lonely.
like you saying, and that's what we were talking about with the last podcast, is with having a support system is big. As you can hear with Vanessa, she was there was not too much support there, I'm guessing, and you know, you need that support, like Raven was saying. Go out there and do little things if you can, even if I guess you barely know the person and they might be updating,
Yeah.
can someone go get me this or
Yeah.
whatever. Obviously these three have been through it and they know it's a shit show through your mental health and physically and mentally and spiritually. Probably it's just probably a lot on you.
I had quite
So
a bit of support, like from my close friends, but just the same as Raven, I didn't want to put it out there or say anything. Like, not very many people knew I was in the hospital. Like, I was too sick to even think about. So I just like stuck with my small, like the support that I needed, the people that were there at that time.
because like October, beginning of October was still kind of, ooh, you got it, and like, ooh, like she said, that's like just COVID survivor. But now I don't know. Do you guys get like it seems like it's kind of getting normalized or what?
In a way, yeah.
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 It's like now you're like cool now.
Yes. No, it's not.
I had
We paved the way.
Every time I see someone that gets like newly infected, I tell them to come to me, and it's like, if you have any questions, ask me. I could comfort you or give you advice, how to just anything. That's what I like. Every time I see someone new with it, I just like, come and talk to me if you
Like,
need
hey.
to. It gets really lonely. Just
You're
someone-
like, welcome.
Welcome to
Welcome to the group.
You know what? You guys should honestly start a group. No, I'm not even lying. Start a Facebook group, COVID
We
Survivor.
can't do it without you.
Oh, stop it.
Yeah.
But
We think you're deadly.
I think you're deadly. And I like watching you be deadly.
Okay.
Oh my God.
let's talk about working in the front line. We've heard you guys' story battling COVID. Let's hear about being a nurse, working the front lines. What's going through your head? What are you guys seeing? I don't, and here you guys, whoever's watching tonight, know that they can only say so much. There's certain things that they're not allowed to say because of confidentiality. Obviously, I do have some questions here that were prepared for me. So yeah, I'm gonna ask some of them. But tell me as much as you guys can, Fallon and Raven, of what it's like working the front lines during this worldwide pandemic. Who wants to take that one on?
When we first, like when stuff first started coming into the hospital, I remember it was on the night shift. Hold on, something just dropped there.
That's your Tupperware.
Sorry, but no, when we first got like our first I guess cases, whatever, come to the hospital. I can't really say what month, whatever, but just like having that feeling like of, because they, like, our educators at the hospital did an amazing job on like educating us. They did a lot of education. It was kind of, after a while, it was like, oh my God, like relaxed. But then it was good because we all, like, they did code, they did everything, taught us how to take our properly don and doff our PPE. So like when we first got that first case, I remember going into the room and I was like, I had to take a deep breath and I'm like, oh my God, like, am I doing this right? Am I taking my, like, you think about, okay, my gloves, you wash my hands, take off my gown, wash my hands, like, so like there's like steps that's so precise. And it was like, holy crap. Like, and I come out of the room and I had called my mom after, like, on my break, and I said, I just feel nervous. Like, with this whole situation. Like, I can't believe I'm a nurse working through a pandemic, like, where it's right there. It's going to be right there. And they had, like, there was a lot of things that we had to learn, like, when it came. Because, like, you never think, like, you're going to have to work through a pandemic. And, like, I never even clued into my mind. But just having, like, all the education and the resources we had at work was so awesome that everybody was able to learn and be ready. We were ready for when it came. I know, Ray, you want to say something?
For me, when it first came, I just want to say, like, it was just the unknown. It's not knowing, like, how long it's going to be, if we're going to contract it. Like, even though we weren't on the COVID or, like, near the COVID, it was still scary, like, cutting off family members. And I don't have much to say about that.
Yeah. Yeah, I know you guys are,
Can.
yeah, there's so much you can only say. So has your hours increased? Like it has stress level increased? Can you guys answer that? Like it's like, is it a lot more tiresome working in a pandemic? And is it as bad as they say out there? Like, is, I don't know. I'm trying to word these right. I don't know. I see strikes in the States right now with nurses. They're saying they're short staffed. They're tired. You guys get really tired over here, I guess. Is it more tiring being a nurse now than it was before the pandemic? Can you answer
More
that?
stressful, I think, but, like,
More stressful?
For sure.
when there's an outbreak in certain areas, and then all, like, they have to isolate, right? All the nurses have to isolate. Just like at Vanessa, when she went to school, she had to isolate. Like, if there's an outbreak, everybody, no matter where you are, you have to isolate. So with nursing, because you only have a certain amount of staff, right? Like, some places are already short staffed. Like, maybe you only have one casual worker, and then all of a sudden this casual person's full time for, like, the next 14 days because 10 people got taken off the floor to isolate. So with that, and then, like, calling for overtime, I guess people, like, I guess it's kind of all over the place, not just where we are. And that's probably why people are so stressed and not really wanting to go to work, is because they're scared, I guess, like Raven said about the unknown. Like, you don't know what to expect until you actually get it, right?
Yeah.
Because, like, even like with patients, like, if you have if you think for yourself, like, if you empathize with the nurse and you're like, they have to actually go in there and take care of this patient, like, how would you feel?
Yeah.
Like,
I was so grateful for my nurses when I was in the hospital. They were so good. Like, kudos to nurses for real.
Yeah. Nurses are like the heroes in this whole thing right now. It's like, I couldn't even imagine being a nurse, right? It just what you guys are going through. And then, knowing that every single day you go to work, you might catch COVID, right? Like, I know a lot.
Catch it everywhere.
Oh, I know you can catch it everywhere, but I mean, you guys are like,
Now.
right? But you know what I mean? It's like, you guys got a higher chance of catching it.
Yeah.
I'm going to go off these questions that my cousin sent me because, she sent them. So, how did COVID impact your work? Did we answer that already?
I'm going to answer.
All right.
Okay.
See, you said you were going to be nervous. She was so nervous before. Now she's like, "Here, let me talk." I got this.
Okay, so I was looking forward to going back to work, getting back to the normalcy. So me being the stubborn person that I am, I attempted one 12-hour shift, thinking I'm strong, my lungs are going to be good, it's going to be all good. Did one shift. It was horrible. Like, by 9 a.m., I was just huffing and puffing, and my coworkers knew that I was struggling. They're like, take a break. Like, if you need it, just sit down. So after that, I talked to my doctor, and we both, like, it's not, what do you say?
It's too soon.
I wasn't ready. If I can't even do, like, the physical walking around of just, like, answering call bells or just helping someone walk around, just simple as taking someone to the washroom. If I can't do that, then I'm not ready to go back to work. So I've been out of work for, it's been a long time, since October 11th, since I found out. and I've had no more sick leave. That's impacting my life. Not going back to work because of COVID, which has impacted my lungs. The long-term effects of COVID is impacting my life.
So it's impacting you financially. Is that having an impact on your mental health as well, or is
Definitely.
It, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Fallon? So
When
the
Raven
question is like, how did COVID impact your work?
Well, I was off too for like 6 weeks, and I was so nervous to go back because I was like, because Raven went back, and then she messaged me, and she was like,
No.
I can't do this, Fallon. And I was like, oh my God,
That's
Raven.
crying.
So I messaged one of my coworkers, and I was like, hey, you guys gotta like help Raven. Like, she's not feeling good. Like, I don't know if she told you, but please help her today. Like, she's not doing good. And then they were like, yeah, for sure. And then so I was like, I don't know if I'm ready to go back. Like, I don't know what she can't handle it. Am I gonna be able to handle it? Like, you know. So then I went and got the return to work program that our employer offers. And I've been doing 8-hour shifts. So I'll do 8-hour shifts and then like gradually 9, 10, 11, and 12, just until I'm better. But for me, I feel way stronger than like it's just like when I overdo it, I guess, that I know to take a break, but I'm able to last the whole 8 hours. But I do, like I told my doctor, I said, and I was kind of crying through, I was like, I feel so useless. Like, I feel like I used to be able to do everything myself. I could go and bathe like all 4 of my patients, do all my charting and everything. I would be good. I'd be good. Do all my meds, everything. And then now I'm like, okay, you guys, can you come help me? Like, I need help. And asking for help is the hardest thing to do when you're like a strong, independent woman. No, just kidding.
I don't have a button for that.
Hashtag strong independent woman.
But yeah.
Well, it's good. It's good to hear you guys' true thoughts, and then everyone watching, like when you go into the hospital and you see some nurses might be off, know that they might be going through a lot of shit that day, and a lot of shit's going on. Obviously, at the hospitals, they're being overrun right now with COVID people, or not COVID people. I guess people that contracted COVID. You're a COVID people.
A COVID person.
You're a COVID person, yeah. But you know what I mean. So, and that's why I wanted to bring you guys on, is just to everyone hear your guys' side of the story, because sometimes I hear you see shit on Facebook that people are complaining about, oh, this nurse, blah blah blah, and you're like, well, you got to think, man, maybe that nurse is going through a lot of shit that day that you don't even know about, because being in a hospital, especially now, the stuff like it just, yeah, I don't know. Hold on. David said, Fallon is the strongest independent brown woman I know.
Why didn't you marry me then, David? I'm just kidding. Just kidding. I love Diana.
And Vanessa, as a teacher, do you want to put anything into that as well?
So what was the question? How does work?
How did COVID impact your work?
Oh, yes. Well, I'm not back at work. I'm not able to be back at work. Because I don't even do my own grocery shopping yet. My parents come and do my grocery shopping for me, and I'm so grateful for them. They do so much. And
you got no energy, or
I have no energy. Like I can't walk long distances, and I'm huffing and puffing, trying to catch my breath. Like I went to Sobeys the other day, first time, and I'm talking on the phone with my parents as I'm doing it, because I wanted to make sure that I was okay walking. And I was like, hey, if I pass out, you guys are on the phone with me.
Wow,
I went and I had to take a break you're walking in Sobeys. I had to take a break by the bread, like by the strawberries, raspberries, and then I walked, and then I had to take another break by the milk, and then I walked. I had to take another break by the bacon, by the meat. It was
making me hungry.
I'm going through my grocery list here. I had to stop.
We're not even at the pastas yet, eh? We're not even at the pastas yet.
No, so just doing those little things. I even pushed a cart to make sure that I had something to hang on to, because I was scared that I was gonna be too short of breath while I was walking. So
Yeah.
I'm doing more like for me to be able to do that is good for me. Like, and at home, I'm able to go down the stairs without having to take a step, like without having to take a seat now when I go do laundry. So that to me, like, it's like baby steps, and that's what I think of every day. And I have to celebrate those little things, because it gets frustrating going from, like what Fallon said, going from being so independent and being able to do everything by yourself to having to have someone go grocery shopping for you, have to ask for things, for help with things. Like, my daughter is really helpful, and I'm so glad she is. And like doing things around the house, like it's really life-changing when you get severe symptoms from COVID. For work, I'm hoping that I can go back I'm hoping after Christmas. If everything works out okay, because I'm a grade 3 teacher, so I need to be on the ball. I have a
Yeah.
classroom of, like, I have 22 students right now, and to be able to be on the ball for all that, and even if we're doing online, I still need to be able to be awake and be well. And I still have days where, and Raven can probably relate to this, well, she can, is that we have days where where it just knocks us out and we're still in bed with a headache. It comes back. I don't know what they said, that it's lingering symptoms. I'd asked my doctor about it because I was kind of scared. And then I started getting like shaky, like shaking, tremors. And I messaged Raven and I was like, hey, do you feel this? Are you like this too? Because I was scared one day because when it started.
Or something.
The
Like,
doctors
our
say-
sugars weren't enough, we thought, but it's just the
Yeah.
after effects of COVID.
Wow.
Mhm.
So now
Yeah,
we got headaches and shakes and tiredness.
Yeah.
There's the lingering cough.
But there
and
is no
that's the
shakes for
longest.
me.
No?
Yeah, she's fine. She doesn't have
No
those, but
shakes.
I right away, as soon as I started feeling not well, like that started happening, I went in our little group chat and I was like, hey, is this how you feel? Is this how you feel? Like, because I was kind of scared, and I thought maybe it was like sugars or something, but then I realized that it was happening more often and at a certain time in the day, and so I asked the doctor, and they said that those are lingering symptoms. So it's not just today, like it's not just you do your 14 days and it's done, or you do your 28 isolation, when your symptoms are done, they're done. We're unfortunate to have the lingering symptoms, which affect us, because if I was to go back to work, plus the shortness of breath, if I was to go back to work, I don't feel I would be comfortable being there, because I only do maybe like 2 days, and I'm where I can go and do little things that I need to get done. And then I spend a day just resting because it's too much.
And yeah, so yeah, also COVID's obviously doing a big number, because I work in a school as well, and on the reserve here, and it's making a big impact on all our staff. Like, the teachers are really stressed, and also getting COVID, that puts another damper on getting the education out to the kids. So everyone's feeling this damn COVID. I want to move on to another question here. First of all, we're gonna get into remedies here of what everyone's taking, because Gordon Passman asked a good one about skunk juice. So here's a question number 2, and then Van, I see your question, and I'm gonna pull that one up too. But our communities are seeing a second wave of COVID. Like, I mean, a huge wave. Like, there's reserves that are getting massive amounts of numbers. What are you seeing on the front lines? I guess it would only be to you, Fallon.
I can't speak.
Yeah.
I'm not back at work yet.
Fallon, we're gonna send you out.
What I can say without breaching confidentiality, just everyone's like preparing for a hit at the hospital, I guess. I don't know how else to say it, but we're prepared. Bring it
Like,
on.
is it like the number? Are you guys at capacity? Because you work at RUH, right? No, BUH. Sorry. And is it at capacity yet, or? I guess, can you answer that? No?
No.
No? Okay. Yeah, I'm just making sure. Did you just give me the finger?
I can feel those eyes.
Oh, okay. I was like,
You can't ask that.
That box there.
Don't.
All right.
Don't go there.
Okay. How are you? I'm going off this question. How are you dealing with pandemic fatigue?
I'm not. No, just kidding. Adapting.
Adapting.
Exactly.
Well, I guess that question is like it's bombarding every single minute, every hour, everything we hear. When you walk outside and take a deep breath, it's like COVID. That's all you hear or something, right? And you turn on
Yeah.
Facebook, Snapchat, any social media, it's there.
Yeah.
How are you guys dealing it? I guess being at the hospital, working at knowing it's there, plus everywhere. Like, is it too much for you guys? What are you guys doing?
I think that our educators at the hospital really prepared us for everything that's to come, and like we are quickly adapting to anything that new that comes in. Like, you know, on our meetings we have twice a week, if there's something new, they make sure that we all know. Like, they make sure that we're all aware of any changes that are coming. If like we have a system in place, you know, like in case anything gets bad or whatever, they have a whole system and we're ready. Like, we're ready for it. I don't know if that answers that.
Yeah, no, that does. You?
No, I'm good.
Oh, getting shy again. Vanessa?
So for our school, we have like 3 different plans. And right now we're in our 3rd plan for the virtual online. But depending on the cases and things, we could go back to in class with our AB. And so that's where it's hard for me to just like, for being still not being 100%. I might be able to do online at home, but if things change to go into class, I wouldn't be able to. Plus, we have the it just depends on on each community and how they choose to go about things. So
Yeah.
and I'm grateful for everything that they've done already, and to keep everybody safe and for myself.
So when you say pandemic fatigue, like what exactly are you?
Like, everyone is just tired of COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And yet you guys, like, you know, just doesn't, I want to
They're
say
tired of
normal,
it.
normal people.
It's like, I'm like a month and a half in. This is frustrating.
We're all tired, right? We're all tired of just hearing it and being surrounded by it. I guess it's kind of like because you guys are right in the midst of it. And when you do go back to work and you're already at work, fell, you know, just shit, how much can you take, right? Like, I guess that's the question. Yeah, I wanna bring up this one here. I don't know if you guys can answer. And like I said, you guys can answer whatever you can. Yeah, you don't have to answer anything. How long did it take to get a negative test we answered that in the beginning, to be cleared from a health official? What is some advice you can give to those who are now COVID positive? Because those COVID positives are popping up everywhere right now. I guess, yeah.
For myself, when I had my positive, it was day 7 when I had my positive, and then I went to the hospital 4 days after, and they did a COVID test at BUH and then at RUH. Both of them were negative, which was kind of strange because I was still feeling like breathless and just like, but I did have double pneumonia with COVID. Mm-hmm. So I went into the hospital. The next day I had 2 negatives. And like a lot of people ask me this, they're like, how come you got a negative, and how long did you have to wait, or can I go get tested again? I was like, no, I don't know. They just tested me. But anyways, they told me 2 weeks after you're negative or 2 weeks after you had your last symptom is what I've been told.
When I asked my doctor about that, because and I asked the community nurse from Bell River Treaty 6, I said, like, a lot of people are asking me, like, how do you know if you're negative? Like, when can you go back to work and whatever? But it doesn't, like, there's a lot of, like, if you have, like, for us, we have, like, OH&S and other people that are managers and people that can guide us. But for me, they said, like, for my isolation, because my kids are both positive too, we isolated from October 14th till November 12th. So, like, that whole time they said, there's no way you guys are contagious anymore. But like, still don't go all over the place, whatever. They weren't retesting people because we can still be positive after. Like, that's what my doctor told me. She said, no, we wouldn't re-swab you. Like, even my son's hockey team, like, they were asking, like, well, how do you know if they're negative? You know, because some parents were like, like, you know, bringing up questions and like they're scared. Yeah, it's normal. But like even that, like people asking you questions like that doesn't like it doesn't feel good. Like they're, you know, people treat your kids even like they're diseased. Like it was sad. But I got the letter of clearance from my doctor, and he said like that they're able to continue into school and continue into their sports because their isolation period and their like period of being contagious was done. And then she asked for some advice. I know, like for me too, I posted on my Facebook. I said like, if you know anybody or if you are positive yourself, like it can be so scary because you don't know what's gonna happen. You don't know if you're even gonna get sick really bad. I said like just reach out. Like there's always someone there to help. There's always someone there to listen. Like I can even like, you know, just offer my support, I guess. Because when we first got it, it was just us three, like, you know, that knew about all the symptoms. We were kind of all like in the same boat, right? So find yourself a support system that'll be able to, with your mental health, just to keep you sane every day. That's the hardest part, is it's so lonely.
And not knowing the unknown, like what Raven had said, like just the unknown is scary. Like I'm not a nurse and I didn't really know what was happening with me. And I've had other people who have become positive and they've messaged me since because they knew that I was positive also. So they had messaged me also, and they had questions, and I was open to talk about anything and let them know. Like they're like, well, my chest hurts. I'm like, well, this is how it feels. It's kind of like a fiery feeling and it's okay. If you can't breathe, if you're having a hard time breathing, if your fingers go blue, then
It's
go in.
normal if your fingers go blue.
Like just giving them little advice so that it kind of helps them in their mental health, and so that they're not so anxious with everything, and just know that it's okay and that this is normal for COVID, and that you're not alone. Number one is you're not alone.
I'm gonna say somebody out there right now who's ever watching, start a Facebook group right now and call it COVID support or something.
That's a good idea.
Even if you want to call it Indigenous COVID support, but I think it doesn't matter because, you know, we're all human, and if you get it, you get it. And then, like you guys are saying, like you need a support system. Yeah. Gordon Pasquaman, did any of you guys take skunk juice prior to testing positive?
I took a little bit.
Did you take any dirt?
I took a little bit in the cedar, but by the time I took it, that's when my smell was gone, and I'm like,
no,
I already knew. Like
Yeah.
as soon as I couldn't smell the sweetgrass no more, I'm like, no, I have it. I didn't want to believe it, but yeah, I did take skunk juice when I was already feeling sick, though.
Me too. Like my mom brought it over and I took it, but I couldn't smell, I couldn't taste. I took like
Maybe her
I don't know, like half a tablespoon maybe. And I took it and then I left it here and I didn't like think about the smell or anything. My mom came over and she's like, throw that outside, like it smells real rank. But yeah, like I took some probably on the 19th or the 18th, and I had my test on the 20th. Yeah. Then it came back positive on the 22nd. And by the way, that's my Uncle Gordon. He's my next door neighbor. He actually came and did my driveway after it snowed, which I'm so thankful for. Thanks, Uncle.
Yeah. I couldn't even imagine shoveling after. Like, can you guys come and shovel or do something about my driveway?
Yeah.
Luckily, the community stepped up.
And there you guys go. Like, we're getting common things here. Well, when you get COVID, you get headaches and you know all this and stuff. That's a big one because my buddy just is getting over it. Big thing was headache, and I've known a couple other people were saying they had headaches. And I want to tell about this real story I read today. This 40-year-old kind of documented and I hate to say it, but he passed away. But he was 40 years old and he started documenting because he just thinking he's never took COVID serious, but he started breathing and all that breathing stuff. And I think he caught it on like a Thursday and he passed away this Tuesday. Like it took him that quick. So, I mean, one, this show is to show that we're trying to normalize catching COVID. Like, don't shun anyone who gets it because it's like I said on the prior one podcast, it's like catching a cold. you can be as safe as you want. Shit's gonna happen. It sucks. The other thing is support, and more support, and more after that, and more after that. Because that's a big thing on the mental health. The other thing is the after effects. There are some of them, obviously Fallon and Raven and Vanessa are having after effects of COVID. So, I mean, when people have COVID and then they're getting over it, or they're over it, but they're still having effects, believe them. So I guess it's a lot of being still tired and being able to do stuff just normally. So, that's another thing. Yeah. It's just a shit show. Let's just say that. And I say that in a humorous way and in a serious way. Everyone needs to take COVID-19 very serious. It is there. It's in our communities. It's everywhere. No matter where you go, it's everywhere. And I know I just get upset at the government sometimes when they, sometimes I don't think they're doing enough and I'm talking about the provincial governments and, yeah, that's another podcast. But I think
no, I'm just kidding.
That's but I think I'm serious. I think somebody out there right now as I speak, create a Facebook group and call it some kind of support thing. If you want to make it Indigenous, go ahead. If you want to just make it for everyone, go ahead. But make something, because even that would be a major support, because then you have people that had it and could talk about it, right?
Yeah. And just like if they have questions, they could just come to the page, and without just seeking out someone that has COVID, they could just come to the page where everybody's just joined together.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just want to say like day 4 in the hospital is like, even just watching TikToks of people hugging was just like so lonely. It's a lonely thing to have to go through by yourself when you have to isolate. Very, very lonely. So reach out if you need to. You can reach out to Vanessa, Fallon, or myself. We can answer your questions the best that we can. If you need support mentally or just anything, Vanessa is good. She helped me a lot.
Yeah, you're surprised at how many people are good at being support through that when you need to talk to someone. Karen, mom here. What'd she say? I think when people have COVID, it shouldn't be a secret. People need to support. I know I would. Yes. 1,000 times. If you guys catch COVID out there, I'm going to rephrase that. When you catch COVID, because I hate to say it, we're going to catch it. Don't be ashamed. Tell people, because it's good to know. Like, get out there and say, shit, I had COVID. If you're around me, better go get tested, right? And at the same time, people know that they're going to say, okay, this person has COVID. This person might need some help, and then you reach out to that person, right?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
I know at the beginning, at the beginning of it, when I was positive, because I was so mad that people that I didn't tell knew I was positive. And I remember crying to one of our band counselors, and I was like, how do you even know I'm positive?
That was me too.
I said, how do you guys know I'm positive? That's breaching confidentiality. I was mad. I said, you know what? In my line of work, if I breach confidentiality, I'm getting disciplined hard. So how do you know who told you? And I was so mad, but I apologized to him, because my band and the people in my reserve, my community, they helped me so much. They would, hey, what do you want? Do you want this or do you want that? And then they would come and drop it off. And I'm like, oh my God, thank God. And not being able to cook. My cousin Ray and her mom came and brought me microwavable things. And I didn't really have taste. So I was like, I don't care, as long as I'm eating something, my body's having something in there, to keep me hydrated, keep me nourished. That's the hardest thing, was for people to know I had it. And then there's a positive and there's a negative, right? Because they're like, where were you the last 14 days? And it's blame. But it's
you should just say,
you
never
don't know
mind, feed me.
Bring me food.
You should just say, never mind, feed me.
No, but we had a lot of people too.
Do you guys find that your taste is altered still to this day? Mine is.
I never had no taste. My taste didn't ever change. So I had everything but that. Unless I was so sick and I was didn't even notice, but
When I went to the
Um,
hospital,
page
like
would
I
kick
lost
in.
my
We could
taste
ask
on
these
like
questions.
the 18th. Then on the 23rd, I took that one inhaler there, the ipetropium. I took that inhaler and I was like, ugh. She was like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "Oh, that tastes nasty." She's like, "You got your taste back." I was like, "Oh my god, I did."
That yeah, I mean Raven just said she said that would be perfect to know ask these questions. There, I'm asking someone right now to start a Facebook group. If you're too scared, I guess I'll probably have to start one. I don't
I'll
care.
be
Who wants to be well here's fellow our cousin here, my cousin. I'm so happy that you ladies overcome this powerful disease and can speak about it. You are all in my prayers daily. I'm on a pandemic team in Sweetgrass, and it's the best team that I've been on helping my community. Hi, Krista.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks, Krista.
And I guess whoever's watching it, it's about getting that team together in each community and making sure everyone's taken care of. So if
Yep.
you're listening in your leadership, if you're
Yes.
part of the shot callers, whatever, get people that are going to be there for mental health because that's needed. Get people there that are going to be for I guess grocery shopping
Mhm.
Yeah.
and cooking.
Thank
I
you.
guess you would
Yeah,
need
good
even
idea.
cooks, right? I guess, right?
That would be helpful
There you go.
while you're really sick.
Yeah, when
sure.
you're real sick, and if
Yeah.
this person doesn't really have anyone in the house or is isolating, you need to, I guess, cook them meals every day, right?
And speaking for myself, little kids too, just getting up to cook for them little ones was
Oh my god, I
hard.
know.
So hard. And they couldn't leave because I was already positive. Nobody wanted to come in either.
Krista, can you answer some of those questions? What do you guys do on your pandemic team? Krista, actually, if you can call, hopefully you can call in. Krista, if you can call in right now, here's my number.
I have to go.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks
You,
for
Vanessa.
having me, and take care.
We
Be
appreciate
safe.
it. And,
Vanessa.
yeah.
See you,
Talk
Vanessa.
later.
Bye.
See you. Krista, if you can call me right now, if you can, 306-717-5395. I want to know exactly what is going on with the pandemic team in Sweetgrass. What do you guys are doing to help out? Yeah, sorry, this is like one of them spam viewers. What does this one say? Thank you for all you do. Stay safe, be well, continue leading, and thank you for sharing. Yes. I'm just trying to get Krista, my cousin, on here if she can call right now because I'm curious to know what other communities are doing in regards to helping out their band members and even Osprey Reserve members, I guess, in general. So yeah,
I know for for my reserve, because me and Chris are from the same reserve. They had they asked me to make a grocery list of things I need, and then they would ask me. They have somebody who does the grocery shopping, like a dedicated person on the reserve that will do the grocery shopping and deliver the groceries. And I've been able to ask for anything like pizza. No, just kidding. But I could ask for things and they would say, yeah, for sure. We'll do that. There was always somebody there, and I'm so thankful for everybody in my community. Everyone came together, and even with the COVID testing and stuff, we had 25, I think, all together on reserve and 25 that recovered. So thank God, that everybody was checked on every day. And through Battle River Treaty 6, we have, they have counselors too. And I did talk to one because I was getting, I was telling her, I just didn't feel good. I was so lonely for my kids, and I cried with her, and you don't have to be embarrassed of the way you feel, because you have to tell somebody. I could tell Raven all I want, but telling somebody I don't know is a whole different story. I can just cry and be I'm so frustrated. I just want my kids home. And I live with just me and my kids here 24/7 before. And then all of a sudden I wasn't with them for 12 days. And they would FaceTime, but FaceTime's not the same as a human touch. It's just so lonely.
Right.
And having all those holistically, I guess, having everything covered. Our reserve did a phenomenal job, and I thank them. They did an awesome job to help me and my family.
Awesome. Did any of you ladies try any traditional medicine while you were sick with COVID? Well, I guess you tried skunk juice.
Yeah, we answered this already with the
well, I had
we did.
I had somebody bring me like a different kind of smudge,
Yeah.
and then like a big thing of tea that she made for me, and like 2 of my friends, and I drank it. But even that, like, I'm not trying to say it doesn't work, but at the time, it didn't feel like it helped.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah, so I guess Krista can't call, too busy. But I mean,
She's probably just ignoring you.
yeah, she's like, why is she telling that? And no, it's so good to hear these stories, man. And I hope it's kind of normalizing coming out with these stories, because now you start seeing a lot of updates now. I have COVID. I have COVID. Right? It's not like
A secret.
a secret like it was at the beginning, and you're not shunned upon, and like we just can't look at people out there different just because they have COVID. Like, again, it's like, unless you were bar hopping and doing something stupid like that, well, you still shouldn't be shunned, regardless of the stupidity. If you literally went out there and we're
And
trying
the
to
severity of the sickness is
Yeah.
you don't want to be isolated.
no, it's
horrible.
I know some people are like, "Oh, I wouldn't mind the 2 weeks of isolation." I'm like, "Are you serious? Are you kidding me?
yeah.
Like, do you know how lonely that feels?" They're like, "Oh, I would clean my house all day." Like, and that attitude. I was like, dude, if you're sick, you can't clean your house. Like, my
Even
house is
washing the
messy, and
toilet
I was
was
like, yeah, and I was like, oh my God, like, please don't say that. That's just like, that's just hurtful. Like, like saying that you wouldn't mind being isolated. Like, I don't wish that upon anybody. Oh, Ray.
It's awesome hearing your guys' stories, and I thank you for coming on, and Vanessa, and I probably guaranteed I'll do another COVID one, because people find it so interesting and they want to hear, they want to be prepared. And also, there's probably people that are on here that have COVID that are watching, and they want to know, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's actually good to start a support group on Facebook and even do videos like these.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Maybe I will start one. I don't know. No one said anything in comments yet. Me and Raymond there. Raymond, me and you will run that, eh? Me and you will run that. We're both podcasters. There you go.
I kind of made a joke about documenting my whole thing, but then there's still like the scared of being looked down on, or like you're dirty, or it's like you're a bad person having COVID. So I was like, no, I'll just leave it.
I know, like, when I got out of isolation, I went to the store to get mail, and somebody called like the reserve on me, and they're like, "Oh my God, she's at the store," and I was like, and I cried. I was so upset.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, as if, like, how hurtful,
Yeah.
It was just like, even after you're off for the 2 weeks, people just like, aren't you supposed to be in quarantine or in isolation? I'm like, no, like I
Like,
survived
educate
it.
yourself.
I'm good. I'm allowed to be out. You don't have to be that ignorant to me just because I had COVID. Yeah,
and
just
that's a lot of, I think, like, because people are so scared of the unknown. Like, educate yourself more, maybe. Like, if you don't know, like how everyone is sharing that picture of, like, being tested and then you're negative, then all of a sudden you infect everybody. Like, educate yourself more on it. If it's scaring you that bad, like, educate yourself, learn, listen to people. Like, don't just be so judgmental.
Don't read every Facebook stat and believe what it says. Go to Google. It's right in front of your hands and phone, and Google. Google.
Like,
Google the
the
real
Saskatchewan Health Authority has a lot of information that's good for people to look at.
Yeah. Go to Saskatchewan Health and look on there. They'll tell you exactly what you need to worry about. Oh, here we go. Here's Jez. Some people can be weaned. Smack my head. Glad you guys are feeling better.
Smack
Yes.
my head.
Isn't that what SMH means?
Shaking my head.
Shake my head.
Oh, smack my. I always thought it was smack my head. Shaking my head.
Oh my God.
I thought it was one of these, wasn't it?
I
Like
guess
this?
so.
It could be both. Yeah.
Well, hey, I'm older, man.
We're gonna say that now. Smack my head.
Now every time you see it, you're gonna be like, smack my head, smack my head.
Don't hurt yourself.
Not too hard.
No, I appreciate Fallon, and go ahead.
Your last question there said, the folks who listen to this podcast are grassroots, and what do you want to tell them?
Oh
I
yeah.
know. I asked my friend Misty. We were talking before, like earlier in the day, and I just have like a couple notes. You know how all our like in First Nations culture, we always shake everyone's hand, right?
Yeah.
And that was probably the hardest thing because like me,
Yeah.
I respect a lot of my elders in my community. I'm always a happy like woo go lucky person. I'm like, hey, how's it going? You know, I even give people hugs all the time. So that was like one of the hardest things is to like you can't hug people, right? You can't go and shake that elder's hand. You can't go and you know stop and say hi and make sure they're okay. And everybody in like reserves, we have big families that live together. Like, you know, like my sister was staying here too. Like there's 6 of us, and all of a sudden like
I know the
like
government's
it's like
5
5 people in the house, and I'm like, hey, who's leaving?
5 people. He hasn't been to the res, has it? Obviously.
Yeah, like growing up, my mom and dad had 8 kids. Like, can you imagine? There's 10 of us in the house. Oh yeah, 5 have to leave. Like, you know, and then it's hard that way. And just to take care, like in my reserve, like take care of people from my reserve, take care of your mental health. If you want to talk, I'm here to help. I like talking.
No, you're
And,
good. Go ahead.
Huh?
Just pretend you're selling Tupperware. Just keep going.
So this water bottle, no, I'm just kidding. Yeah, just like, you know, we all have big families, and someday soon we're going to be able to hug each other and, you know, spend those times together. There's Zoom, there's FaceTime, there's all different kinds of, you know, things. But at the same time, being able to hug your kids, being able to hug your mom, your dad, like those are the things that we take for granted so much.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Just like coming out of the hospital for like me and Vanessa. I don't know for you because I didn't talk to you that much after, but coming out of the hospital, we just felt like we were appreciative of everything, like the little things.
Oh yeah.
Just cooking for my sons, smudging with them, putting them into bed, just being there, just being a mom, and just everything that we take advantage of today that we appreciate more.
Oh yeah. It's like humbles you, hey?
Yeah, for sure. That's what I was trying to say.
I'm a hugger, and it's so hard not to. This past summer, I stayed away from my aunties, uncles, and cousins because it's so hard not to want to hug them, especially Uncle Gordon. I miss him. Yeah. No shit.
Hard.
It's like the fist pound, and even that's like you can't even do that anymore. Hey, yeah, you got to do the elbow smash.
The elbows.
Yeah. Come here, I'll give you one of these. Yeah. Is there anything you guys in closing you want to say? Oh, Fallon's giving someone the look. Get out of here.
I thought my kids were sleeping, but they just walked out. They're like, Mom, what are you doing?
The mom look.
Agamemak, yeah. Agamemak, exactly.
This is my best friend, Misty. I wish she was able to hop on with us. But
this is the other nurse, eh?
This one helped me a lot. My first and only shift back. Kudos.
I want to share a story about Misty.
Misty's the one her husband want chase the ace.
What?
Yeah.
That's
We should
Misty,
have brought
right?
him on. Just kidding. No,
Did you
but
get it all?
I just want to share a story about that because prior to because you know me and Misty and like even Raven, like we're just always going hard at life and whatever. And then when I had got COVID, like it was after she worked a night shift, a 12-hour night shift, and she lives in like by Glassland. She drove all the way out to Sweetgrass. She brought me breakfast, and I made myself eat it because she brought it all the way from work and whatever. And then she came bring it here. And before that, like when I talk to people on the phone, I always say, "Hey, okay, love you, bye." Like I always tell them I love them. And Misty was always like, "Okay, bye," and like would just hang up. And then when I got sick, she would always say, "Okay, I love you." And I just think like, you know, it's a big eye opener when you're sick. Like you have to, you know, it's just like, I don't know. It's just crazy. Like how much you appreciate your friends, your family, and everybody doing everything. And yeah, she's helped me a lot with getting through COVID and being sick.
Appreciate.
So yeah, there you guys go. Appreciate everything. When you wake up and you don't have COVID and you got your smell, your taste, you don't have a headache,
can
you
breathe.
don't have, you can breathe.
Mhm.
You got an income. I know COVID's really kicked everyone ass. A lot of people financially. A lot of people lost their jobs, and
You can
I wanna-
join Tupperware.
follow Fallon there. She'll give you a gig. She'll teach you how to earn money selling Tupperware. Yeah. So I want to say like we're all gonna get through this, and as corny as this sounds, it's like we all got to do it together, right?
Mhm.
I know you see people marching with the no mask shit. It's
Yeah.
like, oh my god, man! Like, wear a mask in the store, whatever, 5-10 minutes. Get the hell out, get off your mask, and get on with your life, right?
Mhm.
It's a normal thing now.
It's a normal thing. It's normalized, and it's not taking away your rights. You're
Put
just
on my
like,
mask.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Try doing a bath with a mask on.
Yeah.
Trying to doing a what?
And all the
Like a bath that,
PPE.
like when we bathe our patients, like with a mask on, you just come out, you're just sweating and like.
Yeah. Whoa. I wouldn't. Yeah.
When people started complaining about, oh, wearing a mask is so hard, and like I'm like, try running to a code with it.
Mhm.
Yeah. Look, we have 19 cases here in Canoe Lake. We need prayers. Yes.
Aw.
It's exploding everywhere, and it's. I hate to say it, it's going to get worse before it gets better because people are still going out. They're still going out, and it's just like, you should keep going out to a very, very, very bit minimum. Like I go to town, I just go to my sister's, come back. My sister doesn't go anywhere. Like that's my thing. But it's like, if you can keep going anywhere, try not going anywhere. Anyway, I can talk forever. We've been giving her for an hour and a half here.
Have we?
Yeah. See it?
Didn't seem that long.
Right?
No.
Look at that. Fallon, I want you to say a few words, and then we'll end it with Raven saying a few, and then I'll close it out.
So am I done.
All right. Do you want to say anything before we start
No,
closing?
just thank you for having us on. Like, oh, I got the screen to myself. Don't do this to me.
You're
Dan,
good.
you
Pretend
look-
you're selling Tupperware.
Yeah, just take care of yourself, your mental health, your emotional, like physical. Make sure you're making yourself do things every day, like sitting up straight, and not laying down all day. Push yourself every day. Like when I first got out of the hospital, like how lucky I was. My thermostat went out, my house was cold. I had to make myself, fix my house. Keep fighting, don't give up. Like there's a lot of times when I would call my friends or my mom and I'd be like, I can't do this, like it's too hard. I don't know, just keep fighting. Don't ever lose that hope. And like with your kids and your family, like with my kids, when they were sick and we were apart, just find ways to communicate and be there for them. It's gonna be hard. It's not easy, but you'll get through it, and just always know that there's hope and don't give up. And add me as a friend if you want some Tupperware.
All right. Thank you, Fallon. Fallon, stay on. Okay, I'm just gonna put you on mute, but thank you. Do you want to say anything?
Just if you know somebody that has COVID, help them. Anything helps. Any little thing helps. Don't exclude them. Don't shun them. Don't make them feel bad in any way, because it's the lonely. That's my biggest thing, is the loneliness. Help your fellow neighbor.
Awesome. Thank you, Fallon or Raven and Fallon and Vanessa and whoever else is there. Big shout out from Raven's mom. Love you, girls. Thank you for sharing, and thanks, Nathan. We need more of this. Yes, I will keep trying to do as many of these as can. It's like What does this one say? Back to online teaching, and hubby is licensing for houses where I'm doing projects at home.
Keep busy.
Oh, Vanessa came on here real quick. Anyway, you guys, thank you for joining tonight's show. I will probably do another one of these. And yeah, it is be kind to each other. If you're gonna get COVID or you know someone got COVID, give them a call, give them a text, snap them, TikTok them, Facebook them, Instagram them, whatever you got to do, get a hold of them. Also, give them kind words because we know they might be hungry but too sick to even tell you. I don't know.
Yeah,
Start cooking them food. Don't even let them ask.
Yeah.
Right?
for sure.
Don't even let them ask, and just
sure.
go cook them something. Some bannock, some Indian popcorn, some anything, Indian tacos, some grilled cheese. I don't know. I can go on and on, but oh yeah, thank you, Georgina. I'm just reading some of these comments here. Then I'm gonna end it. It was a tough time during the isolation and not being able to help my daughter. So when we held each other for the first time, we held each other for the longest time. Yeah, that says it right there. That literally says it right there.
That's how I felt with my kids too. Like
Yep.
when they got to come home, like I hugged my son first came home, they were like, "You have to isolate. You guys can't touch." But then I gave him a hug. Like we both had masks on. I hugged him. He's like, "Mom, are you crying?" I was like, "Yes."
Yeah.
But it's just so hard. Like it's
Yeah.
so hard.
Yeah. So there you guys go. Emotional support. Talk to everyone. I'm hoping someone starts that group right now. If not, I'm going to start it because,
Make me admin.
yeah. No.
Be a moderator.
Right, why don't you guys start it? And then, you can add people. You can add people on there.
I will.
Because you guys
I do Tupperware parties all the time like this. I'm good at this.
Yeah, and that's all that people need is support, and even going live like this and talking
Yep.
is helping people go through this, because people watch this and then they're gonna calm down and they're gonna inbox you or whatever, right?
Mhm.
But knowing that you guys are helping someone, right? My mic sounds funny. I think it got disconnected. But anyway, is there anything else you guys want to say?
I can hear you.
Huh?
I can hear you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I don't know what else to say. Should we keep? Yeah,
Nope.
We could probably keep going for another 2 hours, but
Do you guys want to
That-
watch a demo? No, just kidding.
get a hold of Fallon if you want to learn about Tupperware here. But
Good to see you, Fallon.
are you guys going to create a group so we can give it a name right now? Give it a name right now. Give it a name. Give it a
I'm
name. Give it a
thinking-
name now.
I don't want to say COVID survivors, but how about? I don't know. We'll think about it.
Give him a name because people are watching right now. Cheers.
Just real excited. I don't know.
Right now, let's make up a
How
name
about-
in the comments. Even help us. We want to do a support group right now. Right now, COVID support group.
Winnie sweater is done by Naomi Baptiste.
COVID support group.
Okay, we'll call it.
Is there a creamer for COVID?
I hope not.
Disease.
We'll call it. I don't know. What do you guys want to call it? You guys are going to be running it.
No,
Maybe
you're
like,
admin.
I don't know.
Rise up.
Rise up. Rise up. No. Rise up. COVID.
COVID tea.
Yes, right there. COVID tea.
Yeah, do you have questions? Do you need support?
Yeah. It's like a
Exactly.
question,
COVID
right?
tea,
Yeah.
hashtag support.
What's this one here saying?
Yeah.
You hear love.
Hey.
I really like this one. It brings out
Yeah.
the humor.
Hey.
COVID tea. Yeah.
That's a
We'll
good
have to add my uncle as an admin now.
Okay,
Okay.
guys, there is the name of the group that's going to be started here right away. I'm going to
Maybe tomorrow.
put that up there.
10:30,
COVID tea.
my bedtime.
That's what we're going to call it. And Fallon and Raven are going to run it, and they're going to add other people that have COVID, are going through it, beat it, or even if anyone's wondering what to expect when they catch it. With that, you guys, we are signing out of here. Thank you for joining, and thank you, ladies, for coming on.